It's time to make venison chili.
So we've got a nice charcoal fire here and some apple wood for the smoke. Get that going. And we're going to cover it with our plate setter. So that we have indirect heat and we can throw the Dutch oven right on top of that. We'll create a little bit of an air gap by putting the cooking grate there. All right, so we're getting our cooker up to temperature. Got some good smoke there. You'll see I swapped out the cooking grate for a smaller one just so it fits down on top of the plate setter instead of on top of the legs. Just so we have a little bit more room for our Dutch oven. First thing we'll do for our quick and easy venison chili is light up the cooker. And we'll get the Dutch oven nice and hot. We're going to start browning our ground venison. So now we got the Dutch oven heated up. I like to start with some ground pork fat. Venison's so lean, you really need a good amount of fat to keep it moist and just to keep the texture nice, keep it from drying out. Move that around. I find using a wooden spoon works best in a Dutch oven. It doesn't tear up the seasoning, and it's also the weapon of choice for Italian mothers everywhere. Now that pork fat is mostly rendered out, or it's gotten pretty soft, and we've broken it apart. So now we can put in our venison that we previously defrosted. So it breaks apart pretty good. Still a little frozen in the middle, it's okay. The heat will take care of that. And we'll start browning that. We're going to get some seasoning on here. This is a game seasoning from Busy Pig that I really like. Most of my seasonings are going to go in at the end or near the end. I like to finish it that way because as things reduce, as the liquid reduces, I want to make sure that it's just the way we like it. I also add a little bit of flour. You can use corn flour, you can use wheat flour, you can pulverize some tortilla chips. I just use some whole wheat flour, that's what I like. It's just going to keep it, let it thicken up a little bit once you get the liquid in there, so it's not a soup, it's a nice thick chili. So we'll let that go for a little while. Now our meat's pretty well browned up, so it's time to deglaze. We put a beer in there, and you can put whatever beer you want. I tend not to like a very hot IPA. I think that throws off flavors. Stout's good, a medium ale is good. This is Shiner Bock. It's a nice flavor that complements the meat and the vegetables that are going in this. I'll scrape the bottom. Loosen up all those good bits. And I like to throw some tomato product in there. So, tomato paste. And then all our vegetables and more tomato comes from a jar of salsa. This is a large jar, whatever sauce you like. Some people are a little squeamish about using a tomato product in a cast iron Dutch oven. If you have heavy seasoning, I've never had a problem, so I don't worry about it too much. Stir that in pretty good. And then I shredded up an entire head, small head, green cabbage. Looks like a lot. It is a lot. That's going to cook way down. And I just like the texture it adds. I like the sweetness that it adds. And helps me get my vegetables. We'll stir that in a little bit too. I can see this is a little tighter than what I want, so I'm going to add some water. See what that looks like. I want to see a little more water in there. We'll let that come up to a boil. So we have our smoker at about 280 degrees. That's about where we want it. Between 250, 275, even up to 300 isn't bad. You can see there's a decent amount of smoke coming off that apple wood that we have down in the coals. So we'll just bring our now simmering chili over here, and we're going to let that sit on there for a few hours, let it absorb that smoke. It'll continue to simmer. We're going to check on it in a little bit, and we'll season it up a little bit later with some of my favorite seasonings. Okay, we're still running about 280 degrees. It's been running for about 3 hours, and it is looking good. I'm going to give it a little stir, see what our consistency looks like. Yeah, it's still a little on the watery side. We're going to let it thicken up. It's got to evaporate off a little more. I'm going to get ready and put the spices together and get that seasoned in. Okay, we're going to pull our spices together. I got some smoked paprika here. I don't really need smoked because we're on the smoker with the chili. I don't have regular paprika, so it's going to have to do. I got ancho chili powder. It's just the kind of chili powder that I like. I don't really measure these. I do it by eye. And I've done it enough where I know about how much needs to go in there. Some cumin. Got to have that. Even though we have onions from our jar of salsa, I like it pretty oniony, so I like the concentrated flavor of the onion powder. And then have to have cayenne. Need a little bit of back heat in that chili. So we're gonna load that up. Not too hot. I don't like it crazy hot, but enough to let you know that it's chili. So that'll do for now. We're gonna dump it in. Okay, we're gonna put our spices in. Distribute them a little bit. Stir those in. You'll notice I didn't put any salt in there because we're going to let this reduce further, and I don't want it too concentrated with the salt. So I'm going to salt it at the very end, and that way I can salt it to taste. Same reason why I like to wait a little while before I put the spices in, but we've got enough liquid out of there where I feel comfortable putting the spices in, and then we can correct it at the end if we need a little bit more. Break up a few lumps there with the back of the spoon. And that'll do it. Now, like I said, we've been going for about 3 hours. We're going to keep going. Probably be another 3 to 4 hours easily. And we'll add the salt and we'll be good to go. Oh, that's looking good. So we're going to check the consistency here. Oh yeah, that's really what I like to see. I think that's just right. It's got a nice thickness to it, but not too thick. A lot of steam coming off that. So I think we're going to take it off. We'll salt it and let it cool down and be good to go. Okay, we've salted our chili. We got it to the right consistency. When you look at it, you can't tell that there's an entire small head of cabbage chopped up in there. It looked like a lot when I put it in there, and like I said, it was a lot, but it really cooks down and it gives it a nice consistency and a nice sweetness. That's what I really love about it. So we're ready to plate this up. And ready to enjoy. Oh, that is delicious. Absolutely delicious.